All right, in this help video, we're going to talk through custom equipment fields, which is a new feature within Hazard Scout. So I'm going to start out by going to our demo site, and I'm going to pull up an equipment profile here. So I will search our equipment, and I'll scroll down and choose the top one. So you can see within the profile, there's a lot of different data that's captured, serial number, and whether it's in service, and the location, and so on. But there may be data that you want to track on each equipment's profile that isn't listed right here. Maybe you want to keep track of, maybe the hours that this thing's been used, or maybe what building it's stored in, or something like that. And so you can do that by basically editing the definition or the type of equipment. So I'm going to go into equipment. I'm going to go to types up at the top right, and then I'm going to edit the fire extinguisher. And within here, there's a custom fields area, and I can add a new custom field, and I can say we want to keep track of hours, and that's a numeric field here, so we will save that. But you could keep track of other things as well. You could say, I want to keep track of what color this fire extinguisher is, and that's a text field, so they can type in some text right there. And then the third type is you could basically keep track of anything that would be in one of your data lists within the site. So in this case, we have a buildings data list that lists all of the buildings for our company. And so now I've added 3 different types of custom fields, a numeric one, a text one, and one from a list. And I'm going to save this and then show you how it works. So we'll go back to the equipment page, and I will pull up this profile here. And so now you can see that these fields are blank because we haven't filled anything out on them yet. But if I hit edit, then I can go in and I can say how many hours. Maybe there's 100 hours. And then this fire extinguisher is red and it's stored in the north building. So I'll save that. And then now that data is tracked on the profile. You can also, if you look in the data load section of the website, you can see that you can upload this data via data load. So if you have, maybe a different system that keeps track of its GPS location, or its hours, or any type of data like that, then you could send that data into a data load format and then automatically load it into our site, either through the website, through the API, or through an SFTP drop. So check out the other help videos or contact us if you have questions about how to do that. So I'm going to go back to the equipment search page here, and I'm going to just run a normal search for everything. And then I'm going to filter it down to fire extinguishers. And what that does is since I chose fire extinguishers, it knows that there may be other fire extinguisher fields that I want to search on. So for example, I may want to search on buildings, since there's a building field on fire extinguishers. Also, I can, in the columns over here, I can choose to show any of these custom fields. So I could say, show me the hours and the building right here. And I could export this out to a PDF, and I'm going to have these custom values show up on that PDF as well. And then so with the search here, I could say, show me all the fire extinguishers in the north building, and now it's going to just show me that. And so it's a great way to kind of keep track of custom data on your objects, or also a way to kind of be able to filter it in some better ways as well. The last thing that you may want to know regarding the keeping track of custom fields on the equipment profiles is, if you are using lists, like such as the building list, then you would manage those by going to the control panel and then click on data lists right here. And then you can add new lists. So if you have, makes and models that you want to keep track of, then and you could add make, and you could add, all the different values that you wanted to add right here. And then you've created your list, and you can also update these lists through the API, the data load as well. So if you need to keep these up to date, and they're changing a lot within your system, you could automate those to automatically update as well. So that pretty much covers the equipment custom fields. you may be interested in the ability to actually schedule inspections based on these custom fields. So if you have maybe a third-party service that is, say, moving in hours for fire extinguishers, and maybe, I mean, not that you use fire extinguishers that much, but say that say you had hours on a truck or something like that, or miles on a truck, and you want to inspect that truck every so often. Then what we could do is we'll create a new type of equipment called a truck, and we'll add a field on there, and we'll call it miles, and that'll be a numeric field. And then we will create an inspection, but instead of having the inspection show up every, say, every year or something like that, you could have it be every 5,000 miles inspection. And so instead of being triggered by time, it's going to be triggered by this custom field of miles. And then you can choose what the interval is. So here we'll choose 5,000. Again, as any other inspection, you could choose a form that has to be filled out, or you could choose one of your, or it could just kind of be a default kind of pop up that asks for notes. We won't do any instructions or any required attachments, but I will save this. And then so now if I go into the equipment page and I add a new piece of equipment, and then we'll do TR01, and we'll make it a truck, and we will save that. And so now within this profile, you can see that the equipment is expired because it's never had an inspection. So we could add, let's see, we will make it, we'll say this truck has 7,500 miles on it right now. And so now we will add an inspection, and this inspection happens at 7,500 miles because that's what the current setting is. And we'll say, looks great, and save it. And so now it's up to date. But once this miles gets updated and updated, and it goes over, 1250, is that right? Then it's going to be due for another inspection again. So I will change that to 15,000 miles and save it. And then now it's expired because an inspection was due. And we're well over that number of miles. So that's a new way to kind of trigger inspections, is based on these custom fields. I know some of that's kind of confusing, so definitely feel free to reach out and ask us any questions if you need help on something.